Yo, hey guys, Smallmouth Crush. On behalf of Monster Bass, I wanted to make a video about one of my favorite topics, and that's keeping all of your equipment, all your fishing gear, all your tackle, all your baits organized. This is kind of the off season for me, so today's the day. I'm going to bust open some new tackle boxes and share with you a couple different ways that I like to organize my tackle. It's all coming up. Okay, so there's a lot going on. My goal in the off season is to get organized so I don't have to deal with it once fishing season for me starts up again. We're pretty much froze up here, although some areas I can still get out on open water. But I'd much rather be in a warm garage like this, organizing, playing with my tackle, than being out there when it's 20 degrees outside right now. So there's a lot of different systems as far as how I keep my tackle organized, a lot of different inventory type of systems as well as storage systems. But today I just want to talk about my soft plastic storage system for baits that I use on a regular basis. I like to put them in 3700 style plastic boxes. That's my favorite way, and it allows me to see exactly what I have, and it allows me to keep everything organized. And I'll share with you, I'm actually converting. So a lot of these boxes are old. I've had them for a long time. Some of the latches and stuff are broken on them. And just over time, I'm talking 6, 7, 8 years of use, it's just time to replace them. So I got an order of the Monster Bass 3700 boxes. And I'm actually going to be, over the next few weeks, on my free time, I'm going to be converting all these boxes over to these. So there's a lot of different systems when it comes to tackle and storing it, but specifically your soft plastics, there's really 2 or 3 ways that you can store these and use them. Of course, keeping them in the plastic bags that they come in is a great way. But the problem for me is a lot of days I'll burn through, what is there, 6 in this bag right here? I'll burn through way more than 6. I might burn through 20, 30 plastics in a day of fishing. And I don't want to have all these different bags in my boat. It would just take up way too much room. So when I have some specific colors that I think I may need, I will of course keep them in a plastic bag like this. And I'll normally put them into a soft plastic sided bag and just have those as extras, or if I'm experimenting that day, or whatever the case may be. If I feel like, oh, I want to try this Grubs by Z-Man, I'm going to throw it in one of those plastic containers. But for the baits that I'm going to use on a regular basis, so this is where I have things really dialed in. I know on the body of water that I fish most of the time, these specific colors and styles of baits, of plastic baits, is what's going to work for me. So for an example, let's go through some of the 3700 size boxes and I'll show you what I mean. And I am going to be converting all these. These are old, a little bit beat up. I'm going to convert those over to the Monster Bass 3700 plastic storage containers. Okay, so this old box here is labeled jig trailers. Instead of carrying bags and bags of jig trailers, I put the specific ones that I know I'm going to use on a regular basis. Most of these are going to be chatterbaits and swim jig trailers. I don't fish a regular jig, like a flipping jig, a whole lot. I just don't. But if I did, or when I choose to, I do have a small section here in the front of jig trailers that I'll pair with that. But most of these are really chatterbait trailers. So let's go through some. It's real standard. I really try to get specific on the colors that I'm going to use. So I'm going to have some green pumpkins, I'm going to have some black and blues, and I'm going to have white. It's that simple. So I got my white chatterbait trailers in here, black and white. I do have some of that neon blue. I got some 3-inch chigger craws, green pumpkin, black and blue, and then that neon blue. Some single tail grubs, green pumpkin grubs, and then black and blue grubs. Super simple. I'm telling you right now, 99% of the time, if I'm going to throw a jig, swim jig, or a chatterbait, these are the trailers I'm going to gravitate towards. And so guess what? I got them in my boat. They're labeled. jig trailers. I know right where they are. I can see how my inventory level is throughout the day, and I can just go over this shelf, okay? So let's say I'm low on green pumpkin. I come in for the day. I realize green pumpkin 4-inch Zaccos are getting low. I'm just going to grab the bag off of the pegboard here and put them in. It's real simple to keep track of your inventory levels. And then, of course, over here, when that gets low, it's time to reorder, so I have them for next time. And so if you look at all these boxes, I do that for everything, even my hard baits. But today's video is really about your soft plastic. But we can go down the list: lizards, toads, big swim baits, big worms, flipping baits. So these are all the lizards and the colors that I'm going to use on a regular basis. I have them right here, ready to go. So in this box, I see a bunch of colors I'm very familiar with. Green pumpkin, watermelons. We have a lot of morning dawn. You can see what I throw a lot. But I like to keep it simple, but I have a variety of finesse baits that I'm going to throw right here. I don't have to have all these different bags of these baits in my boat, because I know I'm going to burn through these centipedes like crazy. Like, I'll probably go through 15 or 20 a day if we're really on them. And I got them all right here. Take them out of the bag. They're all going to sit nicely in here. They're not going to get bent. They're not going to get screwed up at all. Dream shots, everything. Every finesse worm that I use is right here. All right, we're going to put this beat up box here of tubes, and we're going to convert them all over to these new boxes by Monster Bass. So let's get into that. Okay, we open these up, and you're going to have a bunch of dividers here, right? So I just grab a scissors, and I will just start taking the little plastic pieces that hold them together off. Very simple. There's a kind of a rib part here. That's where you would grab the divider. You just line them up and put them in. All right, now that I got the dividers in, now we're going to start organizing and putting all the tubes in here. So listen, I have hundreds of tubes, and I've used hundreds of different colors and variations, and that's what I found. They're just variations, and I really can't stress enough that I try to keep things as simple as possible, and I know what colors my fish in the bodies of water that I fish prefer. These are colors that I consistently use and have very good success on these tube colors. And so that's all I'm going to carry. That's all I need. So listen, if I do want to experiment, I'm going to grab a bag of tubes. Say it's a random different color I've never used. And I'm going to throw it in the boat and have it. But the ones I use on a regular basis, day in and day out, I want them in these storage containers. And I'll share with you guys while we're doing this some of my favorite colors. So most of the time these tubes are used for smallmouth in clear water for me. And you can see they're smaller. They're 2.75 inches. So dark melons are going to go in here. I actually need a little bit larger tray here for these, because we're going to stack them in there. Green pumpkin copper, that's going to go in there. This color is called leech. It's kind of it's almost like a dark gray, brownish color. I use that quite a bit. So this one's here is a green pumpkin purple. That's going to get used. We call this one an amber. And then straight black, of course, is going to go in there. And then I like this green pumpkin with this smoke purple tail. And so that's also going to get put in here. All right, here's a tip I'm going to try to show you with the camera. You don't just grab them and throw them in here. You have to layer them. You're going to get more baits in there, and you're just going to be able to keep them straight and protected. So I normally will put three this way, and then we're going to put 3 going the opposite way in that tray. And that just keeps everything nice and tight in there. And then I'm just going to continue to fill these up. Now what's nice about these trays is they actually have a larger area in here too, and I'm going to use that for some of these larger tubes. So I do use the 3.5 inch tubes quite a bit, not as much as the smaller ones, but if I do use it, 90% of the time, it's really going to be green pumpkin copper. It's a great color for clear water, dirty water. It's really almost the perfect smallmouth color. And I'll also show you guys something a little sneaky as well. I use what's called these slender tubes. So here's the regular size tube, and this slender tube is just a little smaller profile, still the same length, but a smaller profile. And I'll use that quite a bit. Now, so they make a lot of great colors in the slender tube, but again, I don't have a lot of room and I don't want to bring every color. So I'm going to bring my two favorites that I'll throw most often. We're going to have a green pumpkin color, and then we're going to have that dark melon color in the slender. So this is a great system when you have your baits narrowed down and you know exactly what you're going to throw day in and day out, your confidence baits. I do that for everything. You guys saw some examples, but I have my flipping baits. I have my fluke style baits. I have my grubs. I have my big worms, like my 10-inch worms. I'll have those in trays of colors that I'm going to use. All right, we're just about done. This is looking good. All right, you see I have them all nice and packed in here. I know exactly what colors that I have, and when I'm getting low, I just know I can replenish. That's why I just love this system. Here's another awesome thing about these boxes. I like that they're waterproof, so they have a sealer around the edge of these boxes, and then they secure well with these 4 clamps. It will help keep that moisture out, which is really important. But that's perfect. Now the last thing I would have to do is label that. So I'm going to take a label maker, and I'm just going to write tubes on both sides. That way when they're stacked, I can see exactly what they are. So if you come over here and you see all my boxes up here, they all have labels. And I can tell exactly what they are and what's in there. All right, there we go. This is, for me, the perfect way to store my soft plastics that I'm going to use on a regular basis. The goal here is just to experiment, have fun, make organizing and getting everything ready. Listen, the more prepared you are in here before you get out on the water, the better your success, the better you're going to be able to focus on fishing, and you're going to know exactly where all your plastics, all your hard baits, where everything is, keeping things organized. This is just one little piece of the puzzle here. There's a lot that goes into tackle organization, but putting your baits, your soft plastics that you use on a regular basis, in some type of plastic storage box in these 3700 series style is one of my favorite ways to stay organized. All right, that's perfect. You can head on over to monsterbass.com and pick up your storage boxes. They have a bunch of different sizes over there. They got all kinds of cool product to take a look at over at Monster Bass. Don't forget to subscribe to the Monster Bass channel. Head on over to my channel as well. We're going to put out a lot of great content, a lot of organizing this winter. As you can see, I got my work cut out for me. We're going to have videos on that, as well as some awesome tips when it comes to catching both largemouth and smallmouth on a regular basis. That's Smallmouth Crush on YouTube. And as always, until next time, we'll see you guys on the water.